Hello friends, and welcome to Rhubarb Patch Studio. If we haven't met yet, my name is Leah Noel, and to everybody watching, thanks for being here today. Whenever you're watching this and wherever you're watching this, I hope that you are well and that you are having a good day, and I am very grateful for having this opportunity to spend just a slice of your day with you. So thanks for being here. I have a special video planned for you today. I haven't made a regular Flosstube update since September of 2024. And so as I was just kind of thinking about how do I get everything together and all of my thoughts and everything, it became clear to me that I just need to do a WIP Parade. So today is going to be a WIP Parade. It is going to be an abbreviated WIP Parade. And what I mean by that is I'm only going to show you works in progress that I actually worked on in 2024. So I'm not including this month, January 2025. I'm just doing the whole year of 2024, all of my WIPs. I'm not going to show you finishes because I just showed you those in my last Flosstube, and I will show you the plans that I showed at the end of that video because I am. So I counted up how many WIPs I have. I'm also not going to show you my 12 starts of Christmas because I also showed those to you in my last video. So we're all caught up on my December starts. So I am not going to include those in my WIP Parade today. So not including the December starts, those 12 starts of Christmas, I have 31 WIPs to show you. I worked on 31 WIPs and new starts in 2024, in addition to the 12 starts of Christmas. And I did work on more than that, but I had finishes as well. So go to my last video if you'd like to see the finishes. So I have those to show you. And then I thought I would also show you two additional projects. One of them is my son's work in progress. He's got one cross stitch project going. He's currently 9 years old. And he hasn't worked on it in quite a while, but he did have one session. And I also wanted to show you, what's it called? Applique? Felt. Felt applique. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Anyways, I have one project of that to show you, so I'm gonna show those to you. I've got my projects in baskets here, and I'm probably going to do a little bit of editing between things when I feel like there's just some dead space and I can cut it out. That way this is a little bit of a shorter video. I also might have to, clear the space and rotate the baskets so that they're just easier to access. Let's see. The last thing I think I'll mention now is I did notice that after my September Flosstube last year, I did go over 2,000 subscribers on this channel, which, wow, thank you so much. It's never been one of my focuses to grow my subscriber base, just because my whole reason for being here on Flosstube is just to find my tribe, I guess, find my stitching tribe. And I feel like Flosstube has been serving that purpose for me very well. I've made some very good, long-lasting friendships with people who I really feel like are real friends, and they are real friends. And so yeah, so on the same hand, you know, on the same token, I welcome anybody who wants to join, who wants to subscribe to my channel. I mean, I hope that you will find this place to be welcoming, safe, inclusive. You know, I try to keep things just mostly about cross stitch and mostly about just my thoughts around my own projects. So, so yeah, I hope that you feel welcome here and you are invited to subscribe at any time. And anyways, with the 2,000 over, you know, reaching over 2,000 subscribers, I have kind of I'm working up an idea of how I can celebrate that milestone. So stay tuned for probably my next Flosstube video. Okay, should we get into it? All right, so we'll start with the applique project that I started, because it's not cross stitch, but we'll just get it out of the way at the beginning here. So last fall I went to my very first quilt show ever, and there was this applique stand called the Howell's Nest, and they were selling kits, and they were just really interesting designs, and they have really interesting stuff, and they have an Etsy store. So I will link the store below. Any store that I mention in this video will be linked below. Any Flosstuber that I mention in passing will also be linked below, so that you know, will get connected, or can get connected if you want to. And then I will also have a list of all of the projects that you see on my video. So the Howell's Nest, and this is called Mr. Rooster. I saw the model there at the quilt show, and I talked to those ladies for a long time, and they convinced me that this was a doable project, and I reached out to my friend Christina, who is Quilting with Nico on Instagram, and Petals and Pins. Yeah, Petals and Pins and Quilting with Nico. Anyway, she's a quilter and she also does applique, and so, you know, I reached out to her, and we actually started, we got together and we did this together, which I'm so glad, because this is my first applique project, and it was a little trickier than I expected it to be in some ways. And so it was really nice to have a friend there, you know, real time, to answer my questions and make sure I'm not doing things the wrong way. So all I really have to do now, I'm noticing now that I am missing an eyeball, so I don't know if I just didn't do that part or if it fell off in the bag maybe, but all I have left to do is the stitch around, which is what, a blanket stitch, I think is what it's called. And this kit came with all of the felt needed, and I think I had to put my own floss together. So I just used regular DMC, and yeah, that's it. Well, and I had to find my own needle, which I think I used a Chanel needle. Not sure, but it's very cute and very fun. And while I was at that booth, she had these little, oops, I always put that backwards. She had these just little finished pieces that I picked up. So I didn't make these. The designer made these. The designer and her mom, her business partner. So I don't know, they're just cute little ornament things. So let's see. Now I will show you my son's cross stitch because that's also kind of, we'll just get that in the mix and out of the way. So my son has this project going. He could not walk away from this in the store. He begged and begged. He's like, please, please, I will stitch it. I love it so much. It reminds him of lava. So, so he had to have it, and he has been stitching on it. He has not stitched on it in over a year, but we both, well, I went to the Jingle Ball this year for the first time, had a blast, and some of the ladies that were in our stitching lounge actually asked about Otto, and so, you know, Otto was there, and I let him know that some of my stitching friends were asking about him and wondering about his stitching project, and he's like, well, should we get it out and I can stitch on it? And I was like, yes, let's do that. So he worked on some of this little orange here. Now, I think at some point I'm probably going to take over on this project for him. We did have a conversation about that, about how he doesn't really want to stitch very often, and he does want this project done. So he said it would be so nice if I were to work on it for him. So that might be happening at some point. My friend Christina made him a bag for his project. This is one of her large sizes. It was so nice. I think, let's see, it also came with here it is, an Ort catcher. I love her Ort catchers. They're so great. So her shop will be linked below. I highly suggest the Ort catchers. And the bags. Let's see. So Jingle Ball was a blast. That was really fun. That was my first time going, and I definitely plan to go again. So most of my projects are unzipped, but I will be zipping here and there, just FYI. All right, so these will not be in a special order. They're just kind of like in whatever order they are. I have a checklist here to make sure that I get all of them. And I'm really bad about remembering to tell you fabric and floss and everything. So if I forget and you just really need to know, just leave me a comment. Yeah. And also same with project bags. This project bag, so I'll show you. Autumn at Hawker & Hallow. This is the model photo. I am not doing 4 of these blocks, and I am rearranging them. I have it in a So Much to Love bag. This is, it's like one of their medium size, but I really like the flat bottom on these. They hold a lot. And each one of these blocks, including this, has its own chart. Like it's a separate design. Like it's all on one page. You know, like you can't see this, the details, but see. So anyway, there's lots of floss too, so it just needs a really big bag. This is my travel project, and actually I think this is the one I stitched the most last year. Yeah, I have 82.6 hours into this project in 2024. So here is my progress. This is on 16 count Haven Ada by Picture This Plus. It is a discontinued fabric. But it's like this really beautiful periwinkle blue, which periwinkle is a fall color to me. I don't know. I really love it when this color sky is out in the fall. It's like one of my favorites. So anyways, I did this several years ago. I finished this up at the beginning of last year, and I finished this up at the beginning of last year. So I actually started on a new block, which is going to be it's this block here with the horses. I stitched this partially in hand and partially with a hoop. Usually when I use a hoop, it's for like solid, like all of this solid stitching here. But yeah, it's a really nice project to travel with because all of these borders are just mindless. And so if I have to pay attention to something and I can't do a lot of counting, then these borders are the perfect thing for that. But I thought I would come down here and do this block and then this block so that I can kind of get corner to corner how big this fabric is going to be, and then I will cut. Because it hasn't been cut yet, but it definitely needs to be. Next project is Portuguese Bird Sampler by Barbara Anna Designs. That is the model photo. I'm doing a total color conversion. This lives in this amazing bag. I just love this print. I love this bag. This bag is by Layla P Creations. It's Corinne. Corinne has a Flosstube and it's Corey Creates. She makes project bags on Etsy, and her Etsy shop is Layla P Creates, I think. Layla P Creations. So that's what this project lives in. And I shared this in my finishes and plans video, but this is one of those projects that I want to finish in 2025. So here is my WIP, my work in progress. Oh, it's looking so good. All right, so I'll go in for you. At the top there, I did some specialty stitches. Everything's charted for just regular cross stitch, but I'm just sneaking in specialty stitches here and there. That whole band is done with the people on the horses and the bird. I got started on those words, and I've almost reached the very bottom border on that left side. So it is coming along, and it's on 36 count. Whoops. 36 count French lilac linen by Lakeside Linens. It's kind of hard to find. Yeah, it's a little hard to find, but it's a really pretty like light purple fabric. It needs to be washed, and if you have any experience washing Lakeside Linens, please leave me a comment. I would so appreciate that, because I stitched this in hand and it is gross and dirty, and I'm gonna need to wash it. I'm using Color and Cotton floss, so I feel confident that that's, not gonna bleed. That one is those flosses are pretty color safe, but yeah, just the Lakeside Linens piece I'm a little concerned about. Right now my plan is, like, once I get to the bottom border, I'm gonna have just this tiny strip of fabric down here. So I might trim it off and then try, like, maybe cut it into pieces and try different bathing methods, like, giving it a bath, like different soap combos, maybe like the OxyClean. I don't know. I'm gonna try, but we'll see how it goes. It needs to be washed. And And I always tell you that this is huge. It is huge. And the dimensions are 275 by 335. So it's a big one. But I really want it finished this year, so I'm trying to spend a little bit more time on it. Last year, this is probably the one I worked on second most last year, which was 43.6 hours. So like half the time I spent on Autumn at Hollow, which is crazy. All right, next project is called Witch's Kitchen by SubRosa Designs. She's on Etsy. This is what the model photo looks like, but I am making this colorful, and I'm turning the witch into just an old lady, because this one I'm making it look like my grandma in her kitchen. So I'll show you. This fabric, it's 32 count. It might be 32 count porcelain by Roxy Floss Co. I think. I'm gonna change the blind situation. All right, I closed the blinds, so hopefully that doesn't hurt the lighting situation, but I don't know. Okay, so this is my progress on what I call Ama's kitchen, because I call my grandma Ama. So her favorite color is blue. So I wanted to put her in a blue dress with a little apron. I put some pinstripes, yellow pinstripes. It's yellow and white. And the dress will be blue. I changed her head to be like a, there's no hat, there's no witch's hat. I just changed it to blonde curls, blonde gray curls, because that's my Ama. And yeah, red apples. There's gonna be a table and counter. There's gonna be lots of fun things to put in here. So here's that model photo again. The mice is, she had this like horrible mouse infestation in her house. I shouldn't laugh, but it was a source of conversation for a long, long time. And her house is out in the country, she's very into gardening, and so I don't know. It just reminded me of that, and she doesn't have the mouse infestation anymore, don't worry. But anyway, it's cute. I'm looking forward to getting back to this one. But there's no timeline on it, and sometimes, like, if I don't have a timeline, then it's harder for me to get back to them. But yeah, it's just the way it is. This one doesn't have a project bag. It's just one of those bags that charts come in sometimes. Okay, this one is Woodall. I don't have a cover photo, so I'll put it on the screen. I bought the PDF from the Etsy store. This is by Smoky Mountain Stitches. And I got the PDF, and it works in Pattern Keeper. There is some over one in this design, so Pattern Keeper doesn't work for over one. Like, it doesn't count those stitches. It's just a little weird with the over one places, so it's not perfect. Also, the PDF has some errors in it. So you just have to kind of keep an eye on where the errors are. But in general, like I really love that it's in Pattern Keeper. It makes my life so much easier because the symbols are really difficult to distinguish from one another on paper. Like if you're hunting for those symbols, it might take a little bit longer, that's all. So I am stitching this on 32 count blank slate linen by Roxy Flosco. I love it. Love it. So I know of 2 other floss tubers that are stitching this right now. I saw it first on Megan Wide-Eyed Stitcher, her channel, and the whole reason I bought this actually and started stitching it is because I missed seeing hers. Like every time she did a floss tube video, I was hoping to see in Woodall. And eventually I realized, like, you know what, I think I just need to stitch this for myself because I love it. It's just so great. So Megan is stitching it, and then also Chessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's also stitching this, and I think both of them are ahead of me, but that's okay. Each flower is about 1,000 stitches, like 800 to 1,000 stitches. So it's a lot more stitching than you might think. But the last I worked on this, I worked on just filling in all of the leaves and then coming down here to start working on that flower. And it's kind of a nice project to just do that, like go from motif to motif. Yeah. This project lives in a Quilting with Nico bag. It's one of my favorites of hers because the colors and the theme. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. This is one of her medium-sized bags. So the other thing about this project is I'm not stitching with the called for flosses. I'm doing a mix of DMC and overdyed, just to brighten up some of the colors here and there and just to make it more, you know, my style. All right, next one is the Annual Border by The Drawn Thread. This is the cover photo. This one also reminds me of my grandma, so hopefully you can't hear that, but my puppy is barking. He's antagonizing Lenny, our older German Shepherd. I introduced our puppy in my last video at the beginning, so if you're curious, that is Apollo. Anyway, the Annual Border. So the Annual Border, I started this with my friend Dana, who is Gemstone Stitches on Flosstube. And we started this together. Dana really likes the Drawn Thread as well. And she's got a lot of good progress on hers. I think she's got like flowers done already, and she's been chipping away at this inner border here. I started in the middle with the words and then came up to here. So I know this border is going to take me kind of a while. So my plan was to do like a flower and then a little border and then a flower and a border and kind of do it that way. Like chunk up this inner border to like, you know, do as much as one flower like that. Because it's just going to be easier to stitch that way. I did sub out my fabric because I bought this as a kit from The Drawn Thread. It comes with all of the floss that you need. I think it's all silks. So it's kind of nice that like you don't have to buy whole skeins. But it comes with like a natural linen, and I don't love that. Just for myself, I just didn't love it. I did try starting on the natural, and it just wasn't for me. I also was only using 1 strand over 2 on 32 count, which also is not for me. I definitely decided to do two strands of silk over 2 fabric threads on 32 count. And I was just looking for the fabric that I'm using, and I don't have the tags. So if you need to know, just drop me a comment. I think it's like French latte or something. It's just a Zweigart, but it's just kind of got a yellower, like a yellower tone. So, but still like, it's a tan, but anyway, if you need to know, let me know. I'll figure it out. Next project is called Frog in Pond by Cross My Heart ink. It's in this Animal Welcomes booklet. So it's got these patterns in there as well, but I'm just doing this one. That is the cover photo. It lives in this beautiful bag. This is a So Much to Love bag, but I sent them this fabric. I got some of this fabric for myself and then some for my friend Amy. Amy loves toads. And we both had project bags made from them. And when I went to StitchCon, I got this. I can't remember if this was one of the gifts from the StitchCon staff or if I purchased this, but it's the Keepsakes building in Ohio. Sharonville, Ohio. A group of us at StitchCon decided to start this together as a stitch along. And one of them is Colette, the Highway Stitcher. She's got a Flosstube and she gave me this needle minder. I thought that would be the perfect needle minder for this project since she's stitching along. So it's me, Colette, Amy, and oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Candace K. She also has a Flosstube. And so the 4 of us are stitching this together, and we all chose different fabrics, and so it's going to be really interesting to see like how they all come out. But this has been really fun so far. I started in the top left, which is not normal for me, but it just made the most sense with this project. So I'm up here doing this bug with the water ringlets, and I will just work down. I'm also I don't know if you can see this. This is a bead. There's beads, black beads instead of stitches. Everything's charted for cross stitch and DMC only, but I am adding little black beads, and I'm also going to add beads in the frog's body, like olive colored and tan colored beads for the frog's body to make it more textured. And then I'm also going to use some blending filament for the ripples. So I haven't figured that part out yet, but that's my plan. This fabric it's either 32 or 36 count. I think it's 36 count. It's by I always say XJU Designs. It might be XJU Designs. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. But I believe I purchased this from Kitten Stitcher. She carries a lot of these modeled fabrics from XJU Designs, and I really like them. They are heavily fragranced. And so I did reach out to the dyer at one point and asked like for, you know, like what the dyeing process was so that I would know how to wash it, to wash the fragrance out. And so I know that this can be washed, like this is really color safe. It's very color safe from my personal experience. Just washing it with like Dawn dish detergent, vinegar. Yeah, it's good with either of those. If you also need to descent it. But I really like it. Next up is Martha Carr 1838 by Antique Sampler, nope, by Cross Stitch Antiques. It's an antique sampler reproduction. It looks like this. I am stitching this to commemorate my son's current school. So I did one for his preschool. No, I haven't done one for his preschool. I have one in mind for his preschool, but I've done one for his first elementary school. And since we moved, I decided to do this for his current school. His favorite color is yellow. And so when I saw this sampler, I just, you know, I felt like that needs to be for Otto. It is being stitched on 36 count Mozart by Color and Cotton. And I just have a little start here. There is my start. There's not very many called for flosses in this. I'm using my own flosses. Like I'm not using what's called for, but they're pretty close. They're keeping with the spirit, of this design. Like it'll still be all of those colors. It's just that I'm using my own conversion. It took me a while to come to be okay with the linen that I'm using, just because like I did want it to be tan, but this yellow really kind of disappears on a lot of the tans that I like. So I just did this little color swatch on this linen to make sure that I was good with it. I wanted to use only one strand, but I am using two. I'm using 2 strands over 2 on 36 count. And let's see. This project lives in a Quilting with Nico bag, which is so cute. Look at this. Oh, isn't this adorable? Look at those little chickies. So this is her large size. So cute. And when I started stitching this, I actually got together with one of my friends, Susie, who has a Flosstube here, Susie Reno. She's Susie Reno on Instagram as well. She hasn't done videos in a long time, but we finally live within driving distance of each other now. And when I went to visit her, she shared this this article with me. It came from Sampler in Antique Needlework Quarterly, spring 2009. This is just, it's a working copy of that, of the article, and I'm just borrowing this. But it's really interesting because this sampler is actually in, well, similar ones are in this article, and it's all about, what do they call it? Something like a little dog sampler. I think it's called a little dog sampler. And even though this sampler doesn't have a little dog, it fits, yes, it's actually, this is the sampler that I'm stitching. But if you can get your hands on this magazine, it's just really fascinating to read about like the little dog samplers. It's called the Little Dog Samplers of Middle Tennessee. if you want to read more into it. There's like these samplers in there. It's so cool. So yeah, just a little extra tidbit for that particular WIP. Next up is World Peace Angel by Lavender and Lace. That's what she looks like. She is my favorite of the Lavender and Lace fancy ladies. So she's the first one that I ever started. She lives in another Quilting with Nico bag, another large size. Really pretty. Love this fabric. Love it. I added a little zipper pull. I bought this at the quilting show that I went to. I bought it from One Wing Wool. They have some really pretty scissor fobs, which I use for my zipper pulls because I don't really have very many scissors. This one is being stitched on 32 count Salem by Color and Cotton. And this is my progress. Oh, so pretty. I'll give it a little close up there. So this is the center. I started in the center and I worked my way up to her face, and then so I was gonna work my way up to the top here, and I was working on the globe the last time I worked on it. I was working on the globe part. All of the skin is charted to be 1/1, and so I wanted to outline everything completely before starting on the face, but that's probably where I'll go next. I'll either continue working on the globe or I will start working on the over 1 skin. But she's still my favorite. I just really love her. I try to take her out in February. Next I have Timber Mallards by Leisure Arts. It is in this Southward bound booklet. There's 2 patterns in this booklet, and this is the one that I'm working on. It's Timber Mallards. I really love Leisure Arts charts. They are really easy to read and they're so detailed, but not like too detailed, not like dimensions level. It just comes out so realistic. So this is my progress. I'm stitching this on 32 count Cauldron by Picture This Plus. I'm totally done with everything. Am I totally done with everything there? I think right about here is the page break. There's 4 pages to this chart, and so both of the top 2 charts are completely done now. I think I even went and backstitched. I did. I went and backstitched just what was on these top 2 pages. So everything is 100% done on the top half. Now I'm just working on the bottom half, and there's not a whole lot going on down here, but it is kind of a lot of counting, so I have to have the brain space. I have a soft goal to finish this year. I didn't mention that in my last video when I talked about my plans because it's kind of like it's a bonus goal. I don't have a specific timeline in mind, but I just really would like to finish this year because I feel like it's I have a running list of projects that are like capable of being finished, and so this, I feel like it's capable of finishing. Yeah, I really love it. It's for my husband. He just really loves this design, and he said it's probably his favorite of my WIPs. So yeah, I do want to finish this. It lives in this project bag, which is made by Ragtag. This Ragtag Needle Arts. I can, hang on. I brought it up so I could. Ragtag Quilt Art on Etsy. So this is Ragtag Quilt Art. It has another project in here that I haven't started, but I like their bags too. All right, now we have Easter Goose by SubRosa Designs on Etsy. Looks like that. Megan, Wide-Eyed Stitching Child, and I are doing this as a 40th birthday stitching swap. We are going to exchange the egg basket, and then we're going to stitch our pieces together. So I'm stitching this on 32 count. What is it? It's 32 count something by Color and Cotton. I don't know right now. If you need to know, it's on my last video, or you can leave a comment and I'll get it to you. But this is, it doesn't come out true on film. Like the video right now is really picking out the greens, but it's a lot bluer than this. Like a lot bluer than this. Anyway, so this is fun. I finished the basket and the egg, and so I'm ready to just, you know, cut it off and exchange with Megan. I am this far done on my goose. It's a lot of stitching. That goose is solid white, so it's just gonna take some time to sit down and do it. Megan's already finished her goose and it looks amazing. I love Megan's, so you'll have to go over to her channel and check it out. And then I just used another chart. I'll give you the details when this is finished because I don't have it written down right now, but I did use another chart for these numbers and just charted that out so we would have the record of it being for 1984 birthday. It just screams 80s. The goose, you know. It's very fun. And this project, oh shoot, I forgot to look up the bag maker of this one. All right, hang on. All right, so I got this bag from Vintage Owl Lady on Etsy. It comes with a zipper pull. This one happens to be a cute little kitty. So this is very fun. This is the fun bag that my goose lives in. Okay, this next chart is called Good Things by Birds of a Feather. I am borrowing this chart from a friend, and so I made myself a working copy, and so you'll see a picture of the cover photo here. So I started this for my library, and I can't remember if I included it in my library stitching video, but I think I didn't because I had set it aside. But anyways, let me show you. I started this in September, I think, September or October, and I started stitching it for my library because it's a sampler, and it's gonna have a mermaid down here and some fish and everything. And I chose all my own colors. This is 36 count Feldspar by Picture This Plus, and I'm only stitching with one strand over two. And all of this blue it's definitely going to be a little bit ghosty, but I'm totally okay with that. I actually kind of like it that way. I did switch up his, what do you call it? It's a rain jacket. There's a name for his rain jacket, but I can't remember. I switched up the color to yellow, but I kept his hat blue. And a little doggy. Anyway, I got as far as starting this alphabet down here, and yeah, this one I do want to return that chart as soon as I can. So I should be working on this this year, and it stitches up really quickly. So I think it shouldn't go too long. This lives in a new bag. I got this specifically for my library stitching. After I made that video, I just had this pile of charts and I was like, I really need a bag that can hold a lot of charts. So right now, this is the only one that's in here, but once I start some more, I'm gonna put them in here. This is for my library stitching. It's by So Much to Love. It's the kind with the flat bottom here, so yeah, it holds a lot. Inside is just a gingham. Her bags usually come with a zipper pull, and she handmade, you know, little heart. Very sweet. All right, this is another new start and another library project. It's called This is Halloween, but I call this the Autumn Bookstore, because to me it just looks like, you know, a storefront, like a bookstore storefront. So I call it Autumn Bookstore, and it is by a Ukrainian designer on Etsy. Her name is Anastasia Yermakova, but her shop name is Canvori UA on Etsy, and I will have that linked below. I have my computer screen here, that's why I keep turning that way. So it's a PDF download, and so I started this, I think, in October. And I really, 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 really enjoyed stitching on it. I am using a 32 count black cherry hemp fabric. It's made from 100% organic hemp. And the dyer is Jackson Fabric Arts on Etsy. And this is, it's very soft. It's very, very soft. The fibers are almost pillowy. I really enjoy stitching on it. It's very soft. It's almost like Jumpin. If you enjoy Jumpin, you might enjoy this hemp fabric. So I haven't been to their Etsy shop in quite a while, so if they're still on Etsy, I will have it linked below. But it's Jackson Fiber Arts, and this is Black Cherry, which is kind of a purpley, it's just like a purpley gray, grayish purple maybe. Anyway, I really enjoyed working on this. So I started at the top left, and which again, I don't normally do, but I did. I started at the top left and just kind of got to work on the furniture part and the top part of the urn with all those leaves. And this chart has, it's mostly full cross, but there's a lot of half stitches, and there's 2 strands and 1 strand, and there's also blends. So, you know, plus there's back stitching, and there's quite a bit of different colors in the back stitch. So it's one of those more challenging patterns, I think, but it's doable just like anything else. Like if you can get through a dimensions kit, like you can get through this, and it's not more than 2 strands for this design. So anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I don't know why, I don't know. It really just, it was the sweet spot for me for a while. And okay, I found a new bag maker on Etsy. Her shop name is Sherry So Sweet, so SEW. And again, like I was kind of looking for project bags for my library stitching because I just had such a big pile and I wanted to keep them together. So anyway, look at this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty and it's so well made. It's all pieced. The back looks like this. Inside looks like this. Yeah. And it comes with a zipper pull. It has a pretty charm, and it also has an extra loop here for probably for scissors or floss or another charm, you know, it's for whatever. So I really like that. And she makes some really great bags. I do have a few now. Like I have a handful of her bags, and I'm probably going to go back for more because, man, they're so pretty. All right, next here is Wilbur by Teresa Kogut. Wilbur's probably going to end up in my library as well. I'll be adding Charlotte's Web up here, which I've talked about in previous videos. This one lives in another Sherry So Sweet bag, which is kind of a Pride and Prejudice. I don't know if it's Pride and Prejudice, but definitely Jane Austen. Yeah, really nice. Inside looks looks kind of plain, but you can see there's like a texture in there. Low volume, I've learned that term. So Wilbur is also on my short list of things that I can and probably will finish this year. I have been color completing this design, and I'm not doing the frame. I'm not doing that because when I frame Wilbur, I'm just going to bring the frame like right up, you know, right up to the stitching. So it'll be okay. And let's see. So I've been color completing on this chart, and I only have one color left. So all of these open places are, should be just one color if I remember correctly. This fabric is 36 count Fossil by Picture This Plus. He's so cute. Here we have Arc of White by Tempting Tangles. And I started this with my friend Amy. Amy loves toads. She finished hers. And it's so pretty. So I think she finished it, I think, before the end of 2024. So it's like one of the last videos of 2024 where she shows her finish. It's definitely worth going over to her channel and seeing it because it's just so pretty. I changed my fabric, and I changed all but one of the flosses. And Amy made us project bags that match. Oops. This is the front. We have bats up top and spider webs down below. We both love bats and spiders and bats. One of my favorite animals is the bat. All right, so I got really far on this last year. I'm halfway done at least. I think I'm just slightly over halfway because again, this is a okay, the lighting. This is a 4-page design and I've finished the top 2 pages, and so I'm just working on the bottom 2. I lost steam a tiny bit on this one when I wasn't sure about my floss choice on this one. I wasn't sure if I would like how modeled it is, but I think I'm just going to keep going with it because it'll be okay. Like it'll work out. But I really like this. I really like this design, and I love this project. I can't wait to like have it done and frame it because I have the perfect frame in mind already. But I want to finish it before I, you know, order the frame. But I'll bring it in here so you can kind of see. All those little spirals are backstitched. So, yes, looking forward to working on that some more. All right, so I've actually got a stack of autumn themed projects here, so I'll try to keep those grouped. I started what might be my first Halloween design yet. Like I just don't stitch Halloween stuff, and I think this is the first thing. So it is called Remember Me by Birds of Feather. I bought this years and years and years ago. I do really love skeletons. I just really like skeletons. I'm not a big fan of like witches though, so I'm not going to stitch the witch. I'm basically just going to stitch the town and this skeleton, and I'm bringing these 2 motifs down into the town. So I am modifying it quite a bit, but this totally says Halloween to me, and it's the kind of Halloween that I like, which is more like, I don't know what you'd call it. I mean, skeletons. I don't like bats as Halloween animals because bats aren't like, they shouldn't be spooky all the time. Like they serve a really important purpose to our ecosystem. So, and they're so cute. Bats are so cute. So I usually I don't like bats with Halloween stuff. And I don't like witches because I'm not going to get into that. Just I don't know, maybe it's the theatrics of it that I just don't love that aspect of it. Maybe I can say that. But I don't get into a lot of the superstitions around Halloween stuff. So that's just what I don't like. But anyway, okay, so I'm spending too much time talking about it. But this is maybe my first Halloween stitch of all time, maybe. And Sherry So Sweet had this amazing Halloween themed bag. And again, I'm not a Halloween person, but this bag was just great. I could not say no to this bag. I'm discovering about myself that I really don't care for Halloween cross stitch, but I love Halloween quilts and Halloween fabrics. Like, what's wrong with me? I don't know. I really don't. But I just love this. It's another one that's pieced on the front. This is the back. Inside is just simple polka dots. I love this so much. So whatever Halloween projects I ever do from here on out, they go in this bag. Very excited. Candy corns, skeleton bones, black cats, and lots of flowers. Like flowers for Halloween. Who knew that could be a thing? So I am stitching this on 36 count something. It's 36 count Darlin by Fortnite Fabrics. And I heard that they're not dyeing anymore, so so I don't think you can get this, but this is my start. It's a pretty good start if you ask me. Let me get it to a better spot. Show you my stitches. So I started down there on the bottom. I'm using all of my own selection of flosses, and so the city will be right about here. It'll be pretty small altogether. So I think I started on one of the snakes in there. There's little snakes and mice in the coffin, which is so funny. It's such a great design. All right, another new start. This is Angel of Autumn by Lavender and Lace. That's what it looks like. So I had the chart and the flosses all ready to go, and except for the specialty ones. And my friend Gayla, who I met at StitchCon several years ago, she finished this and she gave me the specialty threads. And she also made a project bag for me, and it has it's like a thread keeper. It's an ort keeper and a Q-snap grime guard is what it's called. So I have all of this together and I love it. I added my own charm to the zipper. Again, this one, I got this one from One Wing Wool at the quilt show I went to. It's just this little owl bead with the scissors. So, very nice. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Dwarf by Picture This Plus. It's a very bright blue. So, and oh, Gayla gave me this needle minder for this project. So it's so fun that I have all these little goodies from her, because it's almost like, you know, we're stitching together, like I'm stitching with a friend when I pick this up. So I've been meaning to pick this up for a long time, and I'm so glad I finally had an opportunity to start it. So I started somewhere around the middle. So I think this is probably the middle, and I worked my way up to her skin and her head. So I want to get her whole head done before I work on the body. And I got a good start on this, but this color here, the color of this, it's like a blue-green, it's a greenish blue ribbon or sash, I guess. It just wasn't, I just don't love the way it's looking on this fabric. This fabric is really pulling out the, I was gonna say it's pulling out the greens, but it's just not green enough. It's more like teal, and this is such a bright blue that it just wasn't working for me. So I'm changing that sash color. I'm making it more green, and it's going to be these colors here. So this color up here, I believe, is going to be this color now. So it is going to be a yellower green, which I'm fine with that, because one of my favorite things about autumn is when you still have a really good mix of green leaves and colored leaves. Like when the trees just start turning and they're not, like they're maybe halfway through, like a quarter to a halfway through. That's one of my most favorite times of autumn, enjoying all of those colors. But I really like it when the green is still there. So that's my plan with this one. So I'm not really sure when she'll come out again. I'm not necessarily a seasonal stitcher, so it's just going to depend on like my mood and when I have a time to sit down and like do it. But usually when I make a color conversion to something, like that gives me extra motivation to see how it's going to turn out. And so yeah. So I don't know when this is going to come out again, but maybe before autumn. We'll have to see. All right, this is called Hearth and Home by Chessie and me. I have plans for this one. I want this one done. I have another Chessie and me that I plan to stitch as a companion piece. And so I'm going to be modifying these words. As it is, it says, "With thee I share my hearth and home." And 2 sets of initials. But I'm going to be modifying that and stitching it together with another piece and modifying those words to kind of, you know, be together. So anyway, I just really want this one done. I thought I was going to be able to finish it this last fall, but I was way too busy. It was way too ambitious of me to think that I could finish this. Here's my progress. This is, what is this? 32 count vintage Luna by Lakeside Linens. Probably one of my favorite warm neutrals. It's definitely more of like an orange or yellowy squashy color. It's like a squashy color. The light right now is washing it out a bit. That might be a little bit better. I worked on this a lot. It felt like a lot anyways. I don't know if it actually was a lot. It was 9.5 hours that I spent on that over the course of like 2 or 3 days. But I'm down here in the grass, and you know what? That grass can just go kick rocks. I have a little bit of a bad attitude about so much fill-in. I know that about myself. I'm trying to be better about it, but it's just the way it is. I don't enjoy it. But I am trying to stitch it vertically like this and in uneven chunks so that it looks more like, you know, like patchy grass. And I can't remember if I'm stitching with called for. I think on this one I'm stitching with a mix of called for flosses and flosses that I selected. There's quite a bit of over 1 stitching. There are specialty stitches. You can see in this roof here, there are satin stitches, and they are like not what you would expect, I guess. They're like just kind of wonky. They're uneven. And yeah, the windows have over 1 all the way around, and satin stitching in the middle. There's satin stitching in these rocks, over 1. All the birds are over 1. The pumpkins are satin stitched. So it's very interesting. I also got a little disheartened because once my grass got up to this post, it kind of seemed like the post might disappear into the grass, which is it's not a super big deal. I was mad at it, so it got put away. But it needs to be done, and so it will come out again. I'm sure it will come out this year. I'm positive. I almost forgot to show you the bag. This is another Sherry So Sweet bag. Just fall themed. I love squashes. And actually, I really love these. Oh no, what are they called? I know it, but my words are not working. Like my words are just not working lately. Anyway, here's the inside. But I can hardly resist things that have this. I love it. This one is Jumpin' Jack Frost, and this one is one of my oldest WIPs. Like, yeah, I started it in September of 2018. Like, what is taking me so long with this one? I'll tell you what's taking so long. It's bigger than it looks. It's a lot bigger than it looks. And then like all of these leaves, this pumpkin took ages to stitch, and I haven't even really chipped away at this pile of leaves yet, but whew, it is a lot of stitching. So I took this out last year in the fall because I really, I really wanted to challenge myself to take out these older WIPs of mine to make sure that I still want to stitch them, because they've just been in my WIP pile for so long. And I only got a couple hours on this one. I don't remember what this fabric is called right now. It's a Jobelin, might be sage, but like it's a Picture This Plus, and it's Jobelin, and it's 28 count. It's so soft. It's like so soft. Very floppy. It frays very easily. You can see the top here. So when I took this out, I decided I wanted to work on finishing the top and just making sure all of that was finished. And I'll probably work on finishing the bottom border as well next time. And then I just have that huge pile of leaves to chip away at. I am using most of my own color choices here on the flosses. And this was back, like I did that back when I hadn't really ever done that much before. And so my record keeping is not very good. I think that adds to the frustration, but anyway, I like it. I still like it, and I'm glad I took it out for a day to get a little bit more done here on the top. So like, I know I worked here on the bucket and I made sure all of these were done. So I think this whole side of the border is done now. I think I might be done with this side as well. There might be one more leaf to do. Can't remember. But yeah, looking okay. Jack Frost still doesn't have hands or a face, so that might have to be rectified next time. We'll see. And Jack Frost lives in this bag by Hummingbird Hollow. I don't know if they're still on Etsy, but that's where I got this bag. I think back in like 2019, I purchased this bag. And I love it. It's very pretty. This is the inside. Cute. I love a good pumpkin. So, that's my bag. This is Jingle Bells Christmas Tree Farm by The Drawn Thread. And this is also on the short list of things that I can finish this year. And honestly, this one, I probably should have included it in my 2025 plans because I do want to have this finished. I want this finished. It's a gift for my middle sister, and she's been waiting for it. She knows she's getting it. She's seen me stitch on it, and it's time. It's time to finish it. I was gonna finish it last year, but I just did not anticipate how crazy busy my fall and winter were going to be. Like, oh my gosh, so busy. Busy in a good way, but just really, really, really busy. Plus I did all those, the 12 starts of Christmas, so that took up all of my December stitching. I didn't stitch on anything else except my travel projects during that time. So this is my current progress, and I'm not going to unroll it for you because it's almost done. Like, when I took this out last, I know I was working on the trees and making sure all of the trees were cross-stitched. So I believe all of the cross-stitch is done. Now I'm just working on the specialty stitches, which right now in this tree is just like some long stitches. And there's like, each tree has different specialty things going on, like, just, you know, did I say this is by the Drawn Thread? This is by the Victoria Sampler, but all of Victoria Sampler designs have like a whole bunch of specialty stitches. So like all these trees are a specialty, you know, they're just all different, which I love. I absolutely love. I also, since you saw this last, I also picked out the yellow in the windows, and I made them more yellow, more glowy, because I used the called for in the window, and it was too orange. It looked dull. Like, it didn't look like a glowy fire. It just looked like it blended in with the wood too much. So I'm glad I did that. I do not like unpicking things, but I did that. I thought it was worth it. Once I'm done with the specialty stitches up in here, then I just need to bead. That is all that's going to be left. So I'm looking forward to like spending some quality time on this thing. I just need a long chunk of time. This one, if I didn't say it, I'm stitching with all of the called for flosses. I purchased an accessory pack back when they were still widely available. So I'm stitching with everything called for. All the called for flosses, the called for fabric, which is not normally what I do, but when I asked my sister what she wanted, she said she wants it exactly like the picture. She doesn't want anything different. So I said, okay, you got it. And then I'm keeping this in my Garon, what do they call them? Toten bags. I actually won this at StitchCon several years ago. First time I went. So it's a really nice size for my scroll frame. It just sits right in here, and I love it for that. So I mentioned that I went to the Jingle Ball this year, which was a great event. Great event. It was my first time going, and I really enjoyed speed dating. Speed dating is when you get randomly matched with people, and you only have like a few minutes to sit there and chat. And when those few minutes are over, your chat automatically ends and you get matched with another person, and you just keep going until the speed dating round is over. And I think the speed dating rounds were like half an hour. There were options, like if you were really into your conversation with somebody, like you could both opt to extend your meeting. And I felt like that part, I thought that part was going to be awkward. Like, what if someone wants to extend the meeting, but I don't want to, or vice versa? But actually, it was such a handy tool because it's just a few minutes to chat with people, and you really do just get you get into it and like you're asking someone to show you something, maybe like something behind them, and they're telling you the story about what they're stitching on or anything. And it was just nice to have that little option to extend, and it wasn't awkward at all. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I got to meet up with just so many people. I did it every round that I possibly could. And I think I only missed like 3 rounds of speed dating in the entire stitching weekend. So while I was meeting up with all of these like new people and mingling, I really needed something to stitch that didn't need my attention. So I took out Holly by Not Forgotten Farm. This is Holly. It's such a pretty design, and I had already outlined her dress. So all I did the entire time, I just filled in all of the white. And I haven't worked on her in so long, it felt really good to take her out and get some really good progress. And now she's to the point where I feel like all I need is another Jingle Ball. And I could get her done, maybe. I started this with my friend Trisha, who's on Instagram. I believe her handle is Preb409. It's PREB and then 3 numbers. And so we started together, but Trisha has finished hers like a champion, and it's gorgeous. And she sent me a Christmas card with it on, and I thought I had it here at my desk, but I don't. But go to her Instagram channel and see her finish. This is how far I got. So before I went to Jingle Ball, all I had done was this urn and this part, just like this bottom part of the dress, the wreath, her arms, and just the outline of the skirt. So during Jingle Ball, I just sat there and filled it up. I even got up to the bodice and to the sleeves. Wow. I am so happy with this progress. I decided to stitch the white part in hand because it goes faster, and I just want it to go faster. I don't care what it looks like, but it does look okay. With the white, I'm just stitching one leg down and one leg back and making sure that that I'm going the same direction every time I cross my top leg. So my first leg, I might start on the top and I might start on the bottom, you know, like come up or come down. But on the top leg, I always come up from the top and go down on the bottom. That seems to keep my stitches very even, whether or not I'm railroading. So if you are shying away from your white stitches, just maybe try that method where you stitch one leg all the way down, one leg all the way back. Or if you prefer to just do your crosses as you go, try your hardest to come up and down in the same holes every single time. That'll help your X's to look really good. And she does not have a fancy bag. She's just in a plastic bag. This one is Ragnarok by Long Dog Samplers. I am stitching the negative. So everywhere that is white, that's where I'm stitching, and everywhere that's black, that's where the fabric is going to show through. I am stitching this as a leap day. It's a leap day project. So I'm trying to have this finished by the next leap day. What else can I say? There's 16 pages, so I've been marking off which pages I've finished. I'm actually working on this one right now. I'm almost about to finish it. And then I'm probably going to go up to this one. I'm stitching this totally in hand because it goes faster when I stitch in hand. And yeah. My puppy Apollo got to my pattern. So yeah. I'm using a paper pattern and just highlighting. So like when I'm stitching the negative, it's actually really doable this way because I'm just highlighting where I stitch and that's it. And then when there's back stitch, when I have to put in back stitch, I just use a different color highlighter to highlight where I back stitched, and that's how I keep track of it, and it works out really well for me. This is on 36 count Jack-O-Lantern by XG Designs, and it's another one of these speckled fabrics, which are my favorite of hers. Using DMC, and I'm using an over-dyed for the back stitch that matches the fabric. So that's how I'm handling that. All right, I'm not doing a good job here. Okay, so I like to work from the bottom up, so I started this one in the bottom right corner, which I normally don't stitch in the right corner first. I think I just wanted to get to this motif here. And also I'm stitching in hand. So my left hand touches the fabric like this. And my plan is to stitch this side of the fabric and then move over. And I don't know, I think I just really wanted to finish this motif here and see what this bunny looked like. So I got these 2 pages done first, but I'm gonna go here and then one up. But it's looking really good so far. I'm really liking it. This one also has no project bag. It's just in a really boring plastic bag with 2 highlighters and my thread. Okay, now this one definitely needs to be done as soon as possible. It's called Flora and Fauna by Willow Hill Samplings. This is another it's one from the archives, it feels like. When did I start this? It was in 2020. Yeah, February of 2020. So just too many years ago. Why does it take me this long? I don't know. I actually got this chart from a friend, Deborah, and she's stitched it before, and I wanted to stitch this because this fox actually looks a lot like our old dog, Teddy, who passed away in 2020, and I was stitching this before he passed away. Like I knew I wanted it as a keepsake for our time with him. He was probably the best dog we will ever have. He was so loving and patient with children. He loved kids so much. He was just wonderful. So anyways, the other thing about this design is it reminded me of like where we were living for like before we moved to where we are now. We had rabbits all over the city. I felt like rabbits were really the mascot of that city where we lived. And so I felt like the rabbit was perfect because Teddy would go out to our yard and like chase the rabbits out of the yard. And then I'm going to do like native birds. There's a robin, and I'm going to do the red-winged blackbird here, which you'll see I completed that. And then I'll do monarch and this other butterfly, I forget what it's called, but it needs some modification, so that's part of what's like holding me up here. And then the grapes, I wanted to make them look like front neck grapes, which are, they grow, they're one of the few grapes that actually grow natively here in the upper Midwest. So I wanted them to look like that. And yeah, those are all the changes I'm making. So I did pull this out for a decent amount of time last year, and I made some good progress on the birds. Did I finish those flowers? Yes. So the flowers were another thing that were holding me up, and it's totally not perfect. I'm looking at it now and judging myself a little bit. Okay, so these flowers are actually charted to be white calla lilies, but tiger lilies are a native plant in our region, and so I wanted it to be a tiger lily. So I decided to chart them myself, and they're so imperfect, but and this is so much smaller than maybe it should be. I think it should probably be a little bit bigger, but you know what? We're just gonna keep it, and we're gonna go with it, and it's gonna be charming. So I finished up this bunny. Let's see. I modified this bird to be the red-winged blackbird, and I'm really happy with how that came out. I finished this robin. Really happy with how that came out. The robin just needs a white backstitch around its eye, because if you look closely at a robin, it does have a white rim around its eyes. And then I did get one cluster of grapes in, and I like how that's looking. They are a bluer grape, so it looks kind of like not what you would expect from a grape motif, you know, but I think it's looking really good. So I'm working on this tree here. I need to put in all of the leaves and the apples. You can see this one it'll be an exact replica of this one on the side. And then I haven't put my sweet teddy in yet. So that's another thing that needs to be done, like now. This did not make it to my short list. I mean, maybe it should, but I don't know. What is it about this design that just, it's difficult to stitch on. It just needs a lot of brain power. Maybe that's it, you know? And this project does not have a project bag. It just has a plastic bag. My next two projects live in the same bag, and this is such a sweet bag. It's like clover. It's clover and then red polka dots, and it has two handles and kind of a flat bottom there. Is it called a gusset? I don't know. And this is made by Ragtag Quilt Arts. Ragtag Quilt Art on Etsy. And yeah, I really love her bags of this style. This is one, I've got another one I'll show you in a minute. But this bag holds two projects because they're both on the same piece of fabric. The first one is called Bienvenue en Normandie, which is by Madame Lafay. It's been decades since I studied French, so my pronunciation is not good, but this cow is amazing. Amazing. I love this cow, but this cow is also like over 1,000 stitches. Just this cow. Oh, it's such a big cow, but a big, beautiful, glorious cow. This is my progress. I started with the cow. Did I mention the fabric yet? It's 32 count light mocha Zweigart linen. I love how white looks on this, and so I've used it several times for a number of projects. But look at this amazing cow. I love this cow. The best cow I've ever seen in cross stitch, hands down. So I thought I finished this motif, but it appears that I still have a little bit more grass to go here. But the cow is totally done, and I thought the grass was done. It's not done. But I'll have to rectify that. I'll have to take this out and keep working. So something that holds me back from this is that I've got more of this like boring border stuff to stitch. I also want to rechart this to say something else, a different town. And I don't know if I'll keep the French. I don't know. There's decisions to make on this one, so it holds me up. Yeah. And then on the other side of this fabric, like this, I have, oh, what is the English for this? It's Easter, something Easter. Hang on. Easter is Coming. It's called Easter is Coming by Lily Violette. It's another French designer, and this is the French, but it translates as Easter is Coming, which I think if you buy it from 123 Stitch, I think it's listed as Easter is Coming. But how cute is that little rabbit painting Easter eggs? So cute. So cute. I just can't even. I don't have much done on this one because, well, I don't have a clear purpose for stitching this. So those usually take a back burner. But that's how much I have. I started in the middle and just got to work on that dresser and the bouquet. You can see. I don't know what I stitched on last year. It was not very long. I think it was like an hour or something. Yeah, an hour and a half. I think when I worked on it, I was just working on the flowers, now that I think about it. So, but yeah, I really love the way white pops off of this fabric. Like, you wouldn't think, just by looking at it, you wouldn't think that white pops off of it, but it really does. So with all of the, like the rabbit is white and all of those white eggs, I just thought that this would be a good option for it. So, very sweet. This is the bag, the other bag that I have in the same style by Ragtag Quilt Art on Etsy. This is amazing. Like, the coordinating fabric looks like yarn, doesn't it? Like little yarn balls with the little cats. Can you even? Oh my gosh. Can you even? So obviously I keep Spring Cat Sampler in this one. That's what the cover photo looks like. So I have all of the Spring Cat Samplers. This one is started already, and I started the Winter Cat Sampler in December, which I showed in my last video because it was part of my 12 starts of Christmas. They will all be stitched on Aida, 16 count Aida. They're all color and cotton Aidas. This one is called, oh, you know what? No, I'm wrong. This one is Ariel. This one is 16 count Ariel by Picture This Plus. The other Ada that I have for the winter and autumn cats are going to be Over the Moon by Color and Cotton. But this is Ariel by Picture This Plus, which is actually one of my favorite fabric colors. So this is what I have. Let's get this out of the way. Come on. Now I have the PDF charts for all of these samplers and they work in Pattern Keeper. Just the full crosses work in Pattern Keeper. There's no half crosses in these patterns, but there is a lot of back stitching. And the back stitching, you know, doesn't come up on Pattern Keeper, so you have to reference your chart for the back stitching. But I love using Pattern Keeper for this because it is very like, you know, we'll say it's confetti, where it's just not, it's not blocks of colors. They really are just spread all over. So the Pattern Keeper for these charts is really, really great. I want to say last time I worked on this, I might have worked mostly on this birdhouse. And it's getting to be about the time of year where I start wanting to work on this because I'm looking forward to spring. This one is my favorite of the four, so I love it. I mean, it has purple irises and a big fluffy white cat. That kind of reminds me of Dudley. So. All right, this one is called Faith, Hope, Peace, Love Sampler by Teresa Kogut. I am stitching this as an anniversary piece for my husband and I, but it's been difficult to work on, so I am not going to have it done in time for our anniversary this year, which is 20 years this year. But maybe our 25th anniversary, you know, maybe it'll be done by then. This is a lot bigger than it looks. It's 264 wide by 320 high. So it is very large. I keep waffling between stitching and not stitching this middle section. I think I lean toward not stitching this middle section and just going straight for the bottom. So I started at the top. I changed all of the colors because I do that. So this is my progress. I really didn't stitch on it very much last year. It just, I don't know. These motifs are larger than they look. Like this flower, you know, it's just a lot more stitching than it looks. So I think that just holds me up. Last I stitched on it though, I was trying to fill in all of these leaves. I was just trying to go at the leaves, get that whole tree done. I am stitching this on 16 count Icon Ada by Picture This Plus. I have a companion piece for it that I stitched first, that I stitch on this fabric with very similar colors. And so I wanted them to kind of coordinate with each other because that other one, well, I have it. I'll just show you. It's a bonus. So this is the one that I stitched first. It's a Carriage House Samplings. Be My Love, I think, is what it's called. And so this is one of my favorite things I've ever stitched. And I wanted this sampler to coordinate. So I used the same 16 count Ada and similar flosses, but the chart has partial stitches. it has quarter stitches. So you do have to have, you do kind of have to pierce the fabric with the Aida. It's not terrible, but like all of these quilt stars, they all have partial stitches, and then all of the border, there will be so many partial stitches up here in the border. So if you're thinking about doing this, this project, I would just keep that in mind. Like, it's not a huge deal to pierce the fabric, especially if you're using Picture This Plus Aida, because their Aida is just so soft and so easy to work with. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Aida, but Color and Cotton also has really good Aida. Like, it's nice and soft. So I would just keep that in mind. You might want to do linen or something, or just be prepared to pierce your Aida. Oh, and this this project lives in a very, very, very large bag that I got at StitchCon several years ago. I think the bag maker for this is Tammy Blaylock, but there is a tag on here that says Cross Stitch Fancies, Instagram X Stitch Fancies. So that's where this came from. It does have a very convenient handle, and this is an extremely large size. So if you like really huge project bags, then maybe check them out and see if they're still producing bags. So it seems like I'm missing a stack of projects here, so I'm gonna have to go and look for those after I show you this one. So we're getting to my birthday starts. Last year in September, I turned 40, and I had a big pile of projects that I really wanted to start, just in the spirit of turning another decade. And you know, so they were themed that way. But anyways, this was the project that I selected to start on my actual birthday. On September 23rd, I started the Francis Arialt sampler by The Exemplary. They have an Etsy store, and that's where I purchased this. They only sell kits. They do not sell the chart only. And so I did have to buy the whole kit, and I'm not using any part of the kit because I just didn't want to use what's called for. It's just me. But this was what it looks like. And the reason I decided to stitch this for my birthday, on my birthday, is because me and Franny are birthday twins. She was born on September 23rd, 1718. So I don't know how I discovered this, but I did. And it's not typically a sampler style that I would stitch, because it's just all, it's literally letters. There's one border up here and then just all letters. And it's a couple different alphabets and then her family initials, like family member initials. So this isn't normally something that I would pick up, but I just felt like it was too special that we were birthday twins, because I haven't really, I only know of one sampler that has the name Leah on it. And that one I think is even more so not really my style of stitching. I think it's gorgeous. I'm referring to Leah Grunau sampler. It's gorgeous. I love looking at it, but I just know that those motifs are not something that I can stay engaged in. So what I do love about this sampler is that most of the letters are like a different color. So she switched colors up all the time, and I love those kind of samplers. I'm always attracted to those kind of samplers where each letter is a different color. Like, that's totally something that I would do too. So I spent a lot of time kitting this up into colors that I really like, that I really enjoy. And I am not totally decided what I want to do, but for sure, so I'm starting from the top down because for sure I'm going to stitch the border and I'm going to stitch what she stitched here, but I think I'm going to add onto the sampler to add my own stuff down here and then my name, and then it'll be like, you know, our birthday twin sampler. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I have this really pretty, is it too dark now? I think the sun went down. All right, I'm gonna change the window again. No. Well, note to self, try my best not to film at this time of day until, at least until spring. Making note of the time here. So we're just gonna have to do our best with the lighting. Winter. Okay, so this is my start, and I'm really enjoying it. Like really, I really am. I started with this border, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy stitching that, but it really wasn't too bad. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. And then, yeah, I got started on these letters, and it's really fun. This is a 40 count linen by Color and Cotton. I believe it's like one of their limited editions, maybe like a one-off kind of a thing. And I'm using all of my own I'm using all of my own selection of silk flosses. I wanted to keep in the spirit of Francis's choices. So you can see, like, I did keep with the spirit of her colors. But the fabric is blue. It's like a very, very, very light blue, like an icy blue. And the called for fabric is like brown. I don't know if you can see through the bag there, but it comes with DMC, and they're all very like antique colors, very dusty. Like, I just don't do dusty antique colors. I really like bright, fresh colors, and these are more pastel. Like, they're pastel, but they're still kind of like fresh, you know, floral almost. So, I love it. I love it. So that was my one of my major birthday starts, and I'm gonna have to go find the rest. But first, let me show you. This project bag that I got. This is another Sherry So Sweet and another patchwork. Patchwork. And it's Anne of Green Gables. And it's purple. Like, it matches what I'm wearing today. I love it. The back looks like this. It's all quilted. Inside is white. It's just white. There's no pattern or anything. And then the zipper charm is purple cherry blossom. So Franny lives in here because we're birthday twins, and Anne and Diana were like, they were bosom friends. So it's kind of like, you know, on theme. All right, let me find the rest of my birthday starts. All right, I had forgotten that I relocated all of my birthday starts to this birthday project bag that Christina made for me like several years ago. It has little birthday animals on it. So I kicked out what was in here and I put in all of my 40th birthday starts into this bag. So they're all together. I still haven't started one of them, so I'll put that aside. Okay, here is Let Examples Shine by Sheepish Designs. And this one I pulled all of my own colors for, and I got the tiniest, teeny tiniest little start on it. This is a 40 count, Tundra by Lakeside Linens. But yeah, just started in the middle and it's not much of a start at all. But I've always loved this one so much. It says on the bottom, on Earth, let my examples shine. And then it has the alphabet. So I might not do the alphabet. I might and might not. We'll have to see. But I'm glad to have it started. Let's see. Next, I have a drawn thread. It's called Be Here Now. Be Here Now by the Drawn Thread. And I really wanted it to match this old, this is actually a pandemic freebie called Be Well, and I put it on this super dark green linen. I think it's a 28 count. It's a 28 count dark green linen. It's a mystery fabric, but I wrote down all of the flosses that I used, and I wanted to do those colors for this, or at least like coordinating. So I just got a very, very tiny start here. That's the B in Be Here Now. So yeah, there's that one. And let me see, am I missing any? Be Here Now. Bargello, oh yeah. Here's a Bargello sampler. This is not part of my birthday. Those are all I started for. Those are all the ones that I started for my birthday. I will add at least one more to that, but I'm not sure when. So in here, I have the Bargello sampler, which is not cross stitch, it's Bargello, and it's by Mary Hickmott Designs. She's on Etsy, and this one is very fun to work on. It's a sampler. It's Bargello sampler, so it goes pretty quickly, but not as quick as you'd think. Like I thought that I would be done with this by now, but I'm not. I'm using a 22 count white Hardinger fabric, and it uses 6 strands of DMC, so a whole thick strand. So I'm using a super thick needle, and it's very fun. It's a very fun sampler. I changed all the colors to purple because that's my favorite color, but it's charted for red, so that's fun. And then I just have one more project to show you if I can find it. All right, I did find it. It was crushed up under all of my 12 Starts of Christmas. So, all right, this is called Queen Bee by Marjorie Massey. I started this last year, in hopes that it would be a good travel project for me. And it has been. It's been a good travel project. But I'm still taking Autumn at Hawthorne Hollow more than this one. This one, let's see. I'm using 18 count Dill Ada by Picture This Plus. And I'm using my own selection of flosses. There's only 3. It's supposed to be black, dark red, and a lighter red, like pinkish. So I'm using a dark brown. I prefer dark brown. And then I have a couple of reds to add. Well, a red and a pink. So it'll look like that. So that is it. It'll look, I kind of liked how this fabric looks like honey. Like a really dark honey. You know, there's a lot of shades of honey. But this one just, I don't know, did something for me. So that's been fun to take around. And it lives in this smaller, it's another Quilting with Nico. This is one of my oldest ones, I think, because it has these awesome fish on it. I love fish. The inside has like little under the sea characters. Very cute. Whew. Okay. So those were all of the WIPs that I actually touched in 2024. There may have been some other WIPs that I touched between my last WIP parade and the start of 2024, but like that didn't make it into this parade. But honestly, like it doesn't really matter that much. So from now on, like going forward, we're just going to do regular floss tubes, and it's going to be easier because we're all caught up now. You've seen all of my birthday starts. You've seen all of my library starts. You've seen all of my 12 starts of Christmas. You've seen, you know, stuff from the archives that I really haven't worked on in too long. So yeah, I have a lot of things that I have to do this year that are going to be time consuming. Like I've got more house projects that we're kind of working on, and I feel like it's going to take up a lot of my brain power and stitching time, which is totally fine. I just don't know about like what that means for what I'm going to be able to accomplish with my stitching. But I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to share some more some other crafts too. Like I really want to learn how to quilt this year, so I'm thinking about how to share that. I'll probably do separate videos for that. There's other floss tubers that I watch that do separate videos that I really enjoy having that separate format. But that's kind of on the horizon. That's why I mention it. Once I finish up this applique, I'll show you that. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I hear Apollo whining, so he's gonna need some attention right now too. So it's good timing for me to end this video. But if you made it this far, let me know what you're stitching on or what you're working on, crafting on. And if you're cleaning the house, I don't know. Honestly, I watch a lot of Flosstube when I sit down to eat lunch. It's like one of the times that I have that I can just like relax. And so yeah, let me know what you're doing while you watch this movie. And yes, in my next Flosstube, I hope to do some kind of something special for reaching 2,000 subscribers. So I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already, and that way you'll know when my next video goes up. And the dogs are over at my door, so. All right, so anyways, I hope you're all well. And yeah, until the next video, take care.